Check, check, check. Okay. I think it's time to get started, everybody. Welcome in to the Magical Mystical Book Tour, where we cover spirituality books. Hey, everybody, how are you? Yeah, Magical Mystical Book Tour. We cover spirituality books. We're trying to ground our practice into something practical. How can we make practical gains in spiritual progress, right? Because you can just sit down for meditation and not know what you're doing and hear all this spiritual jargon, and it gets confusing. Yeah, I just want to simplify. Just make everything very relatable. Make everything very relatable, and that way, so when you're sitting, you feel like you're actually making progress and not confused. That's what we're going for. Yeah, so that's Magical Mystical Book Tour. It is a book tour. Right now we're reading Mindfulness in Plain English. You don't have to read the book. I come to the stream with quotes prepared, so you can just sit back, relax, and maybe learn something, maybe drop into the chat a little bit. Hey Plant Genie, how are you? Yeah, if you have any insights, drop into the chat, or just lurk. That's cool too. Very fun. And yeah, maybe you can learn something. Make your meditation better, deal with troubling emotions better, right? You should also check out the Discord. In the Discord, we break down chapter by chapter. Any insights that we've had during the reading. So right now we're in chapter, I think we're in chapter, what chapter we're in Magical Mystical Book Tour. Mindfulness in Plain English. We are on chapter 6. This is the 6th stream. And yeah, in the Discord, there is a thread for each chapter. So as you're reading the chapter, you can see what other people's insights were on that chapter. And you can add your own if you'd like. So join the Discord if that's interesting. Yeah. Otherwise, is anything new with any of you? I have cool news. Check this out. We have channel Mystic Yogi. Oh, I put 2. Mystic Yogi. Hold on. Mystic Yogi emojis. It's a meditating frog. Pretty cool. So we have the meditating frog, a smiling meditating frog, a waving frog, some hearts around, smiling with the D smile, D. What is that? Thinking frog, oops frog, hooray frog, and angel frog. Angel frog is tier 3. Some of these are free. One message was deleted by Plant Genie. Who the heck are you? My evil twin, stop spamming. Oh. I guess Nightbot doesn't like you spamming the emotes. We should click to show. Oh my gosh, Mystic Yogi oh, it still didn't work. It deleted. You Plant Genie, you spammed it. I like the waving frog. So yeah, that's the news. Some of them are free. 5 of them are free. And then we have 5 tier 1 frog emojis, 1 tier 2 frog emoji. No, the tier 2 frog emoji isn't loaded yet. I have to figure that out why. I put one up, but it didn't load yet. And then we have the tier 3 frog emoji, which is the angel. I really like them. I think they're pretty fun. Let me know what you think. I should start playing this game. I really like this game. Anyway, what else about the emojis? I think that's it. I'm excited about them. Oh yeah, I remember what I was gonna say. Yeah, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 emojis are available. If you'd like to subscribe, we're doing a $10 donation to WaterAid at 8 sub points. 8 sub points, we're doing a $10 donation to WaterAid. So excited about that. You can subscribe, support the channel, and also make a difference somewhere in the world, bringing water to communities that don't have it. Okay, very cool. So I think we should get into it. Magical Mystical Book Tour, quote number 1 from Mindfulness in Plain English by Bhante Gunaratana. It is, keep in mind that postures are practical aids. Not the practice itself. Meditation does not mean sitting in lotus position. Meditation is a mental skill that can be practiced anywhere you wish. So the main idea with this quote, why I wanted to bring it in, is that it's saying that meditation is not sitting. Meditation is not sitting. It is a mental skill that can be practiced anywhere. So that begs the question, then what is the mental skill? What is the mental skill that is meditation if it's not sitting? And the mental skill is, the mental skill is concentrating on the felt sense of the body, right? And by felt sense of the body, I mean, what does it feel like to be alive in this living, breathing, human organism? I don't know. Living, breathing, you're a living, breathing human. What does that feel like? That inquiry is meditation. So you can try this. You can take a moment. What does it feel like? What does it feel like right now to breathe? You can pause. Sense inside. Try it real quick. Don't be shy. What is that sensation? Or you can feel into your hands. Maybe you feel a pulse in one of your fingers, pulse in your wrist. Maybe a vibration or a reverberation in your hands. How do you know your hands are where they are? There's a felt sense to it. What is that felt sense? You can also take your mind up to your shoulders, top of the shoulders, shoulder blades. And you can just sense and feel there. Maybe one shoulder feels higher than the other. Maybe one shoulder feels more constricted. One shoulder is more pulled up. All right. What is the sensation of being in your body? It's an investigation. You can check in with your eyes, your jaw, your tongue. Let all of the muscles in your face relax. Cool. So how's that? Coming back to the screen. You can open your eyes if your eyes are closed. And that's what meditation is, right? It's not about sitting. It's an investigation. Investigating inside. What is it like to be in a body? What is the felt sense? And you can do that in any position, anywhere, anytime, doesn't matter. And that is that idea. Right? It's not sitting. But I guess I would say, right, so it's not sitting, but the internal investigation, that is just the first part of meditation. That's just the first part, because what happens when you're concentrating on the felt sense of the body is a thought will appear. Thoughts arise. Can't stop it. We can't control our thoughts. Where do they come from? I don't know. Who knows? They arise. There's nothing you can do about it. It's not something to solve. But it's important to know what they look like. What do thoughts look like? And I like to think about them. I was thinking about this in my meditation on what the thought experience is, and it feels like it's like it feels like a visual image, not in the sense of, you know, like a dream. Obviously, you can, like, there's like a physical seeing in dreams, I guess, if you want to call it that. It feels like you're physically seeing. But a thought, it's more like seeing a memory. Like, if you imagine your living room, your childhood living room. Imagine your childhood living room. Can you imagine where the TV was? Where the front door is? What couches are there? Maybe what your coffee table looked like? What kind of blinds you had? Where the windows were? So you can get a pretty good sense. It's like you're seeing it, but you're not actually seeing it. It's a kind of a visual image. You know, you can see it in your imagination. And I feel like that's what thoughts feel like, how they start. You know, you're sensing, sitting, feeling, checking in with the sensations in your diaphragm, trying to be with your breath, really honing your concentration. And then all of a sudden, you'll have a visual memory pop in. You're at the grocery store again, and you're opening the fridge, and you're grabbing a carton of eggs, and then you have internal dialogue, and you start talking about it, and you think, I feel like the eggs were more expensive today. And then you're hooked, right? That visual image is the lure, and then you're hooked, and then you're like, oh, were the eggs more expensive today? Oh, I really need to make more money. How can I wonder how I can get a promotion in my job, and then you're completely hooked into the thinking process, and maybe you'll carry on thinking for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, the rest of your meditation, maybe, and then it'll finally occur to you, oh, I'm thinking, and I've lost all concentration on the felt sense of the body, the felt sense of the breath, what sounds I can hear right now, present moment sensation. You completely lose it. So thoughts arising is the second component of the meditation, right? So meditation is not sitting, it's focusing on present moment sensation and noticing when thoughts arise, right? So the big idea here is that you can't control a thought from arising, but you can choose to follow the thought or not follow the thought. You can choose to follow the thought or let the thought pass. So in your meditation, right, you're sensing, feeling your breath, and then that thought image memory pops up of you opening the fridge door and at the grocery store and grabbing the eggs. And then it's like, oh, there's a thought arising. I'm thinking about when I was going grocery shopping earlier. And then you can return back to the sensation where I'm back to feeling the sensation in my diaphragm. And that's meditation. Noticing the thoughts as they arise and catching the thought as soon as it arises and returning back to the concentration of the felt sense of the breath. But, you know, catching it right when the thought arises, I feel like is super advanced. I definitely, can do it sometimes, but not consistently for even like a 20-minute meditation. It's just I'm going to get lost in a thought. Um, yeah, so you notice when your mind has been hijacked in a sense into this thinking spiral, and then you can just make a note. Oh, I'm thinking about grocery shopping, and then you return. It's the same exact thing. You just return back to the breath, back to present moment sensation. Yeah, and I heard that quote. I remember reading a quote from Sharon Salzberg, I think it was, that we expect our meditations to be. We expect when we're doing our meditations correctly that we're just not getting lost in thought. But it's more that coming back over and over again is the practice. And I feel like that's super freeing. I really liked hearing that. It's true. I mean, you cannot stop the thoughts. You'll get better and better at not falling into thinking. But it's just coming back over and over again. It is so productive in our daily lives to notice, because we can take this meditation off the cushion and into our daily lives. And it's so productive to notice when you're just falling into a crazy thought spiral. And knowing that you have agency over it and you don't have to go down that path. Just tune into breath, sensation, or think about something else. You have agency over your attention. Where do you want to place your awareness? You can choose your thought. You can choose where you keep your attention. But yeah, postures are an aid to the practice. We're going to talk about that in our next quote. But it is not the practice itself. The practice itself is concentration on the felt sense of the body. So yeah, maybe we can get the next quote coming. This is Magical Mystical Book Tour, where we investigate spiritual content and just try and break it down, make it simple, make it practical, make it useful. The whole thing about like the whole spiritual practice is that it is so practical. Like the information just makes life easier, and you suffer less. You suffer less from your mind getting out of control, because we have it's obviously we know we have agency over our thoughts, but it doesn't register when we're in complex difficult emotion, when our thoughts are based around difficult emotions. It's easy for us to get lost in a thinking spiral, thinking we can solve the issue, thinking we have to think our way out of it. So it's just nice. It's so, and we don't, because obviously we know we have agency over our thoughts, but we never think to use that agency. The Magical Mystical Book Tour is all about reclaiming some power in our daily lives, so that we don't have to spiral off into thinking. And the information, it's so powerful, and I don't know. It's so helpful to have the information. So we'll go on to the second quote. The purpose of posture is threefold. It provides a stable feeling in the body, which allows you to center your concentration. So the main idea with this one is that posture provides a stable feeling in the body, which allows a stable posture helps you concentrate better. So why does a stable posture help you concentrate better? The reason is you're limiting the activity of your mind. You're limiting the activity that your mind has to track. A stable posture allows you to concentrate better because you're limiting the activity that your mind has to track. Let's start a new area of this thing. There we go. Turn a new color. Right. Posture, when you're sitting in a posture, you limit the activity that your mind has to track. So I think you can test this out for yourself, right? You can try meditating. So we talked about what meditation is. It is felt sense of the body, felt sense of what it feels like to be alive. And so you can try that while you're driving or walking down a busy road. You can experiment what environments make it more difficult to meditate in. But when you sit, so your mind has to track okay, let me gather my thoughts. So when you sit, the only activity your mind has to track is the felt sense of your body. Right? So, well, it's tracking two things, the felt sense of your body and the felt sense of your breath. Just two things, felt sense of body and felt sense of breath. So our main focus of concentration is on the felt sense of breath, right? Main concentration is on the felt sense of breath. And only thing we have to think about is sitting up straight. So there's not a lot to distract us from what we're doing. So sitting makes it a lot easier to maintain your concentration on the breath. And you can compare that to when you're driving a car or when you're walking down a busy road. You'll notice, like when you're walking down a busy road, you're paying attention to staying on the sidewalk, navigating foot traffic. There's a lot of sounds going on. There's a lot of activity that your mind has to be aware of so that you stay safe and you don't go wandering into the road. And you'll notice, you can experiment with this for yourself, you'll notice that when there's a lot of activity to track, it's not that we have to stay super focused on walking down a busy road or driving. But when there's multiple things to track, our minds are bouncing between these different tasks. And as it's bouncing between the different tasks, thoughts can sneak in. That's when thoughts are able to sneak in and then we're kind of on autopilot, thinking about something else. And it's really hard not to go on autopilot when you're doing activities like that. I know I feel like this so I live near the ocean, and I like to go swimming in the ocean. And I make it a concentration practice. I try to stay with the felt sense of the body as much as I can. There's a lot to feel into: the temperature of the water, listening to the waves, listening to the sea foam fizzle, all present moment sensation stuff. There's plenty to feel into, sense into, right? But there's also a lot that my mind has to track. It has to, track my balance, because the current is pulling me off balance. I have to maintain balance. I'm judging the sizes of the waves, deciding, do I want to swim under this next wave or jump into this next wave, just based on the wave size. And then I'm also just looking for moments of calmness in the water so that, I can just relax for a bit. And it feels like when I'm trying to meditate while I'm hanging out in the ocean, I fall into thought like after 10 seconds. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to try and stay with present moment sensation, and I completely lose it easily within 10 seconds. It is so difficult to maintain concentration on the felt experience and not just be lost in I don't know, some random thinking. It doesn't even have to do with swimming in the ocean. Just thinking about a situation, or I don't know what I have to do later. I don't know. It is very difficult to maintain concentration when there's multiple activity. I notice autopilot a lot during mundane tasks like brushing my teeth or showering or cleaning. That's true too. There you go. I mean, so I would say that, yeah, mundane tasks like brushing your teeth or showering is a great opportunity to get better at maintaining concentration while in the midst of activity. Because it's not like swimming in an ocean or walking down a busy road. What are you tracking when you're brushing your teeth? You're tracking standing, the brushing, and you can do the felt sense of the body. So it kind of works out, because like you can do the felt sense of the brush on the teeth. The brush on the teeth. Felt sense of that. But there is a little bit more activity than sitting and maintaining focus on the felt sense of the body. So if you compare them, sitting has concentration on sitting up straight and the felt sense of the body. Brushing your teeth has concentration on standing, a little bit on balance, brushing, and the felt sense of the body. So there's not much more. So that is we find these little bridges to improve our concentration in the midst of activity, and brushing your teeth and showering and cleaning. Cleaning's probably a little bit harder because you're thinking about what you have to clean next, where you need to go next. But yeah, those activities, you can always maintain. You can keep your finger on the pulse. You can keep your attention on the felt sense of the body in all those activities. And the the less the mind has to track in one of those activities, the better it is as a bridge. So that's why mindfulness, walking meditations are a bridge into meditating in daily life, because it slightly increases the level activity. You are walking on some kind of path. You don't want to walk into, I don't know, wherever the path isn't, right? So you're paying attention to where you're walking, and you're paying attention to the fact that you're walking, and you're paying attention to the felt sense of the body. So there's just 3 things versus 2 things in meditation, in seated meditation. So it's just a little bit more, and yeah, so there bridges into meditation in daily life. So the main idea is, if there's a lot of activity going on that your mind has to track, thoughts sneak in much more easily. That's the whole idea, the purpose of posture. A stable posture helps center your concentration. And that's why. There's very little activity going on. Oh. Let me know if you have any questions. This is the Magical Mystical Book Tour, where we cover books on spirituality, meditation, mindfulness. Right now we're covering Mindfulness in Plain English by Bhante Gunaratana. Yeah, and I bring in quotes from the book. We're on chapter 6. Bringing quotes in from the book, quotes that I think are helpful in making our spiritual practice more practical. How can we make progress on the spiritual path? What does progress look like? That's what the aim of this stream is. You can also check out the Discord. In the Discord, it's just a place for you to leave your insights. We have different threads for different chapters. So as you're reading a chapter, if you have an insight, you can leave it for the community. I'm leaving my insights. Just a fun place to, I don't know, share what you noticed about your practice and a realization on how you can practice better. It's always a lot of fun. Realizing, oh yeah, I can totally introduce this into my way of life, and I am being more efficient with my spiritual practice. It's always a fun realization. We'll go on to the next quote. So this is a follow-up with the quote we were already doing. The purpose of posture is threefold. The second fold is physical posture promotes physical immobility, which is then reflected by immobility of the mind. So what is this saying? This is saying that the physical position of our body affects our mental state. And that is said more clearly in this next quote. So we'll move on to the next quote. Buddhist practices always recognize that the mind and body are tightly linked and that they each influence each other. Right? So this is saying mind influences body and body influences mind. And mind influencing body is a little bit more familiar, I think. I feel like that's a little more familiar. What is it? Like when you've had a stressful day at work, your shoulders might feel tighter. Or when you get embarrassed, you blush. Or when you get angry, mental state, anger, physical state, your jaw tightens, your hands clench into fists. And you can think about posture in general. Like if you think about someone who feels confident, what does their posture look like? What do you imagine their posture looks like? Or imagine someone who is scared. What do you imagine their posture looks like? Or you can imagine someone who's anxious or relaxed. This person is, you picture a relaxed person in your mind. What does their posture look like? Right, so our mental state influences our physical state, right? And now the idea of changing our body position to affect our mental state feels less familiar when you hear about it. It feels like a little mystical that you can change your physical posture to change your physical state, but it's not that crazy of an idea. Like, for example, imagine you're in class, you're listening to the teacher, but then the teacher says something like, okay, I need you to pay attention right now because what I'm about to cover is the most important concept of the semester. And if you understand this concept, you're all but guaranteed to get an A on the final exam. So here's the concept. And what do you do in that situation? You probably sit up straighter, lean in, right? Because unconsciously, you know that sitting up straighter affects your mental state. It causes you to be more alert, right? The posture affects consciousness. And in meditation, we want to be alert. So what do? We sit up straight, which supports alertness. The Buddha, what's our quote again? Let's go. Quote, quote, quote. Quote, quote, quote. The purpose of your posture is it promotes physical immobility, which then is reflected by immobility of the mind. Immobility of the mind, meaning our thoughts slow down. We're trying to slow down our thoughts. We're sitting up straight so we can have alertness to noticing the thoughts and letting the thought go. Alertness, we want alertness on the present moment sensation of the body. And we want alertness to notice thoughts as they arise. And as we interrupt the momentum of the mind, the momentum of thinking, our thoughts slow down. And that is also supported by the immobile posture, thoughts slowing down. Let me bring up the next quote because it also ties in to right here. Thiram Sukham Asanam. So this is what's that, a new color? Looking pretty good so far. Purple and green. Maybe I'll connect them. Maybe I'll get like a tan. See what happens. Merge them with an intermediate color. Anyway, Stiram Sukham Asanam. Sthira Sukham Asanam. What does it mean? Sthira, it means firm and alert, firm effort. Sukham means easeful, and then asanam is the posture. So you want a posture that is firm and easeful. So the firmness makes sense. You sit with your seat firmly grounded. You lift the back of your skull. Spine is long and strong. Chin is slightly down. We take a firm posture when we're sitting. And like we said, this posture influences the mind and it cultivates an alertness. Alertness on the felt sense, alertness on thoughts arising. And we need that alertness because, thoughts are going to come in and they're very tempting thoughts. It is, you're thinking about a situation at work earlier where that person annoyed you. And so it's like we have a rolling TikTok in our mind. It's very hard when a thought arises. You have sometimes to have the discipline to let it go because it's something we want to think about. So we have to be very alert because they're tempting thoughts, and if we're not alert, the thought images are just going to arise, and it happens so quickly. Thought images arise, and then we're immediately talking about it. We have to be very alert, and that's the steerum. And sukham is easefulness. And why do we need easefulness in this situation? It's because you can't force the mind to stay concentrated. It's not going to work. You can't. There's a quote in Tao Te Ching. The force that is force is not the true force. You can't force the mind to stay concentrated. You need to give the mind a comfortable place to relax and settle down. So as you're sitting, you feel into your eyes relax, tongue softens, legs are heavy. You want to get gravity into your bones. Feel the gravity in your bones. And we also use our breath to create a sense of ease and refreshment in the body. So that's another investigation you should make. Like when you're in your meditation, just pose the question to yourself: how can I breathe in a way that feels easeful, refreshing, and gratifying? Because that easefulness is so important for allowing the mind to settle down. Because it's a pleasant sensation. The relaxation, that feeling of concentrated relaxation. We can concentrate on that blissful feeling because it's satisfying for the mind. It wants to think about things that make it. I don't want to say feel good because we can think about things that are addicting in a negative way too. Like I don't know, just thinking negative things about that some person. I don't know. It feels good to be mean, right? So I guess okay. So then, yeah, it's still a feel good thing. So the mind wants to do something that feels good. So you need to introduce you need to create a space that is calming and relaxing for your brain to settle down and rest. So that it's not so inclined to get lost into another vortex of thinking. And you can also think about it as like, what is a relaxed mind? A relaxed mind is a mind that's not caught in thinking, in this vortex of constant internal dialogue, constant thinking. Relaxed mind is more spacious and open, and that supports our meditation, because when your mind is more spacious and open and not thinking constantly, you'll notice when those small thoughts arise, right? Because ultimately, the whole purpose of this meditation process is that we're trying to discriminate between ego mind and the unconditioned mind. So ego mind is always seeking. It's saying, I'm feeling down about this situation, and that thing, that job position, that sense experience is going to make everything better. So the ego's happiness is conditioned on specific circumstances, specific conditions. But then there's a dimension of the mind that we aim to discover, and it's the unconditioned mind. And it's the dimension of mind where happiness is not subject to meeting any conditions. Everything is fine just as it is. Everything is free to be just as it is, and you are free to be just as you are. So it's not to say that this unconditioned mind is like this super spiritual, peaceful, feel-good place. Everything is free to be as it is in the space of unconditioned mind. So if you're feeling sadness or anxiety or regret or anger, those are all okay. So let's go through an example. So what's the difference between, what's a practical example of what it's like to be stuck in conditioned mind and what it's like to be in open, spacious awareness, unconditioned? We can take anxiety, for example. So yeah, you're sitting and you notice you're thinking, you're feeling super anxious. And the thought spiral is definitely going to be all about either how are you going to get out of whatever's causing you the anxious situation, or you're searching for some solution, or you could be caught in this pattern of wishing things were different. So it's all, I'm uncomfortable. I wish I wasn't uncomfortable. How can I fix it? Under these conditions, I wouldn't be so uncomfortable. And then you make a plan to make it happen, to solve the anxiety burden that you're under, because you don't like the feeling of anxiety. And there's nothing wrong with that. Conditioned mind is, how we live in the world. We need it. It's super practical. How we make plans and make change in the world and prove ourselves and notice something's wrong and we aim to fix it. But it can get so our minds are a tool, and we need to use them productively, because it can get so unproductive when we're anxious and we're just running around in circles. We have no solution, or let's be more productive. We have a solution, and but it's like a slow burn solution. Like, it's going to take time to see the results, but we continue to think about what is making us anxious, and it's not getting us anywhere. It's serving no purpose other than feeding our anxiety and making us feel more anxious. Completely unproductive. which is why it's so helpful to be able to recognize unconditioned mind, because now let's look at this situation from the perspective of the unconditioned mind. So you're sitting and you're feeling anxious and you notice you're spiraling out in unproductive thought. And with this practice, you can say, oh, I can fully tune into the felt experience of this moment. So you feel the anxiety fully, except now it's not so much that I'm anxious, it's not so much that, it's more, oh, this is the felt sense of anxiety. Anxiety is here. And that perspective, it's a simple perspective, but it creates a little space between the felt sense and you. You're not so deeply in the anxiety. It's not I'm anxious, it's anxiety is here. You're just aware that anxiousness is present. And you feel it fully. And unconditioned mind, as we said, it doesn't need any conditions to be met. It needs nothing to change. So you're just able to hold that anxiousness and feel it fully and just hold it in awareness. And it's important to remember that, that anxious feeling is definitely part of you. It's one of your ego selves. And it's a ego self that wants something and it's not able to get what it wants. And when you hold this sense of yourself in awareness, the felt sense is still there. You're still going to feel the anxiety, but with that space and that perspective, there's also this sense of acceptance, accepting the felt sense just the way it is. And it's a holding an awareness that just, it has the felt sense of awareness kind of just saying you can rest. You don't have to solve this issue. The anxiety is fine just as it is. Right? So meditation, we practice meditation. This is the practical portion of it. We practice meditation to recognize this open, spacious dimension of the mind. And then we can go to this last quote here. This is Magical Mystical Book Tour. If you're enjoying this segment, please consider following or subscribing. We have new emotes. Check out the emotes. It's a meditation frog. And at 8 sub points, we're donating $10 to the Water Aid Foundation. We're donating $10 to Water Aid, helping communities that don't have access to clean water get access to clean water. And also check out the Discord. This is Magical Mystical Book Tour. So it's a book tour. You don't have to read the books. But in the Discord, we go over chapter by chapter. The books we're reading. It's not necessarily to discuss the chapter. It's more to explore insights. What did you learn about yourself, or the way that you're practicing? It's always fun to add a new component to your practice that just seamlessly fits into how you're moving about your day. Just something to add to your practice. Yeah, we're looking for practical ways to practice spirituality. Also, if you subscribe, we have new emotes. Sticking them in the chat. I'll spam. Oh, we have more emotes up actually. I didn't have this many before. They were pending. Damn. Oh, where are all my emotes? No, that's all of them. We got all these cool frog emotes. Meditation frog. Very fun. 5 of them are free. Anyway, last quote here. This was a quick chapter this week. Anyway, the purpose of posture is threefold. So this is the last fold of the posture thing. They give you the ability to sit for a long period of time without yielding to the meditator's 3 main enemies: pain, muscular tension, and falling asleep. So this is, I wanted to bring this in just as a way to talk about the physical posture and how you should sit. Physical posture. So when you're sitting, you always want to elevate your seat. So you can either do that on a couple of folded blankets, a bolster. If you do yoga, you'll probably have access to these things. But you definitely probably have some towels or something. You just fold a couple of towels, give yourself a 2-3 inch lift, and you just want to elevate your seat so that you're not rounding in the low back, getting low back compression. It is much easier to sit with your sit bones elevated. Okay, so elevate the sit bones, definitely number 1. And then when you're sitting, take a moment to find your sit bones. Rock forward and back over your sit bones, because you want to sit forward on your sit bones, right? So taking your pelvis into anterior pelvic tilt. And the reason is because the next component of the posture is you want to find a natural lumbar curve. And being on the front edge of your sit bones helps you find a natural lumbar curve. Also, I should back up. We talked about sitting on a couple of blankets. You want to sit on the edge, the front edge of the blanket. As in, don't plant your whole seat on the entire blanket, because if you do that, it's gonna like pinch a nerve or something. I don't know what happens. I don't know why it happens. But then your legs go numb. So you want to sit on the edge of the blanket, right on the very edge. So you're sitting forward on your sit bones, and they're right on the edge of the blanket. And that gives you a nice lumbar curve. And with your hands, you can either, I like clasping the back of one hand in the palm of the other. I also like palms down straight on my knees. That's really nice. I don't know, whatever makes you feel comfortable. There. And then spine is long and strong, lifting up through the back of the skull. Chin slightly down. And that is a posture that will allow you to sit for a long period of time. I should also mention cross-legged. I like sitting on the edge of a bolster or 2 folded blankets. Very nice planchini. Edge of a bolster is always nice. I do like an edge of a bolster. They have, you can look up meditation cushions, Zafu and Zabutons. I like a Zafu. Or is it a Zabuton? I don't know which is which. One of them's a cushion for your seat, and another one's kind of like a bigger cushion for your whole entire body. So you stack the cushions. One is a giant square kind of pillow thing. And then you stick another cushion on top of that, and that's for your seat, to elevate your seat. Zafu Zabuton. They're really nice. But you don't need it. Folded blankets are always very nice. I definitely like just 2 folded towels, 2 folded blankets. It is a common meditation position for me. Yeah, so let me know if you have any questions. I think we're like this was a super short chapter, and I think we're coming to the end of this stream. Try the emojis if you haven't yet. They're very fun. Meditating frog. This is Oops Frog. Very cool. But yeah, this is Magical Mystical Book Tour. We cover spirituality books and try to find little nuggets to bring we try to find little nuggets to bring practicality into our spiritual practice. So we're just looking for little tips and tricks, stuff to use throughout the day. What does it mean to be meditating on the cushion? What does it mean to be meditating throughout the day? How do we do it? Are the free emojis for followers? I don't know. Maybe they are. Plant Genie, you must know about Twitch. I think you're right. I think you have to be a follower to get the free emojis. And subscribe. We also have subscriber emojis. And yeah, also check out the Discord. We cover the go chapter by chapter in different forums. So you can read the insights from other people. It's a nice place to gather. Pretty cool. And yeah, check out the city we've built so far. Isn't this? Love this game. Takes very little thought. I don't want to give my mind too much activity to track, or else I get distracted. This nice balcony with all these lookouts. Cool. Check this out. Balcony. Anyway, we're wrapping up the stream. I'm flying around the city we built today while we were talking about what it means to actually meditate. So, I think I will leave it at that. Thank you for joining. You were here. I appreciate you. I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. Have a good... How long do you sit for? I sit for like 20 minutes. I don't know. I'm a new dad, so... Now that I'm dadding, practice has definitely been a little harder to get to. Well, I mean, I still get to it, but, you know, I used to have like a hour-and-a-half yoga and multiple meditations a day. Right in the morning and right at night. And But yeah, now I'm going for a 20-minute, solid 20-minute meditation today. That's about what I can fit in. I love meditating. Meditation, you led in the beginning. Thanks. It was a great stream. Thanks, Planchini. All right. I think I'm out of here. Have a good rest of your night, and we will see